Welcome everyone, Mark Sargent again, and welcome back. So this is the basic fluffy skull that we made in the previous section, and I want to make a comparison between Polymesh and Dynamesh. Now this model, this particular subtool is in Dynamesh, so if I go down in the geometry, Dynamesh is still active, so this one's a Dynamesh model. Now let me select the model. There's only one, so it's quite easy to select. It's selected by default. Hit on duplicate. This will be polysphere 1, and I will rename it to um, just poly, and that will be my second model. Now let me move it aside because there's two skulls and two skulls are identical, so I want to make a distance between the two. Select the move tool, drag it out, okay, turning off symmetry because that generates some weird split. So I'm turning off symmetry by hitting X and dragging it out. Now I'm ready to work on this. This is a secondary school, and this secondary school is named Poly, and because the original was a Dynamesh, there's a high chance that it is also a Dynamesh. Now I don't want to keep it as a Dynamesh, so I'm turning this off and going back to draw mode. Now if I'm pressing Shift F, uh, only the actual model's wireframe is shown. So if I'm holding down Alt key and clicking on this head, as you see, it's 100% the same. But this one, because Dynamesh is still active, it could be updated. So I'm control and dragging and it's updating, but this one is not updating anymore. It is not, because even if I tap on it, it's not updating. Symmetry is turned off. Now let me show something. This head is right at the center. So if I'm selecting this one, and as you see, I have symmetry established. Okay, symmetry is working. If I'm alt tapping on this model to select the other head, if I'm turning on symmetry X, the double double outline for the brush it will appear, but can you see the offset? It's not working because I moved my model away. Now what to do in this case? Let me take a look at the local symmetry. And local symmetry is enabled, and I'm just using the shift and tapping in like a gentle highlighting or smoothing the object. It's enough. This gentle touch is enough to ZBrush to recognize that, okay, I have a model that's moved away, it's offset, so ZBrush has to use local symmetry. So right now I can work on this model, and maybe I want to move it even away. But when I'm moving, I'm turning off symmetry now. When I'm ready with a move, I'm turning back on symmetry, using shift, just a gentle touch, and now local symmetry is established. The reason I did this because I want to create ears for the skull. Just let me select the first original model and let me rename it to Dynamesh. So that's my Dynamesh skull, and I want to create ears. Now how to do that? There's a brush called B Chisel C3, and this brush actually contains different face parts like eyes and ears and mouth piece or whatever. I will use this ear too, and this is a right ear, so I will generate it here on this side. Symmetry is established, and let me drag this out. Okay, alright, it's moving this way. Here we go. Now this ear is generated and the polygons are stretched out because it's a quite aggressive brush to deal with. So if I want to refresh it, what to do? Control and drag, and now we have this new ears. But what happens if I do the same on this side? Dynamesh has the flexibility to be ready to accept new items, and everything like that, and refreshing it quite flexibly. But if I'm using a polymesh like this, let me change the color of it. It might be disturbing, so I'm Control W. That's changing poly color for one simple single polygroup. Okay, it's important. I have only one polygroup. This is why I can use this Control W so easily, because it doesn't matters. It is still one polygroup, but the random color is changing, nothing else. So I'm using the same brush, dragging it out, and the result is, oh yeah, it's a little bit weird, but let me undo it and try to find a new place. Okay, this was better. Symmetry is established and everything is nice, but hey, I can't update. So I'm Control drag, there's nothing working on here because it is a polygon model. And this is the main reason for using Dynamesh in the early stages of modeling until you're satisfied with the figure and the silhouette, and then using a polymesh. Now what happens in this case? If you already turned your model into a polymesh and oh yeah, I want that flexibility that coming from Dynamesh. You don't have to be afraid, just going down, select the model, go into geometry, turning on Dynamesh, enabling, and now you have another Dynamesh tool, another Dynamesh model, so you can work on, create ears, create this kind of a crazy mouth part. So it's really up to you. And if you want to go back, you can always turn off Dynamesh, and now you have a model, and you can subdivide it if you wish. We already have been talking about subdivisions. Control D is for subdividing, and that's also smoothing out many of the details. Okay, so that's a quick comparison of the two model types, and we will going forward with Z-spheres to building up a structure, and then the Z-spheres could be converted into Dynamesh models to start working on the figure. So thank you, and see you next time.